Brad, how are you keeping?
I'm good.
Congratulations on the movie.
Thank you.
Before Rampage, what was your favorite movie monster of all time?
Facehugger and Aliens.
I think we may have become just like best mates, like immediately.
I mean, how do you beat it?
It's tough. It is tough, and it is a fantastic example of a movie monster. So we are best friends, and that's a great start to the interview.
I'm in.
What is it about The Rock that just has everyone constantly drawn to him? Because obviously this is far from your first time working with him, and I doubt it'll be your last time. So what is it specifically about The Rock?
I think that we all believe that he could do all of the things that he does. Because he's sort of like a real life superhero.
Sure.
But I think the secret sauce to it is, like, if you're imagining the world ending or saving Chicago or surviving the world's biggest earthquake or whatever, and you're with Dwayne, the added bonus is that somehow he manages to be funny through the circumstances. You're like, okay, well, all of Chicago's falling around, and he's like, yes, but then he'll crack a joke, and you're like, oh my God, I feel relieved. So to me, it's he kind of does it all.
What have you got him saved in your phone as? What's
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
The full name?
Oh, yes.
The whole lot? That's fantastic. Congratulations on... I was surprised at how violent it was. And I was really, really digging the... Obviously, it's a 12s, teenagers kind of movie, but there were some, like, pure moments of, oh, that was quite violent. And it's nice to see in a blockbuster of this scale that, you know, there can be those mini moments of shock, I guess. Was that something you had to push for, or was that something that was totally okay from the get-go?
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of support from the studio and the filmmakers, like, I mean, the producers and everyone around me. And I grew up on adventure films. Sure. And I trust my gut to where that line is. Look, you're not going to put a special forces team in the woods and not rip them in half, or a couple guys in half by a giant wolf. Like, it's going to happen, you know? Like, I would be really let down if it didn't happen. But I also am not like the type of person where I'm like, oh, I need to see blood and guts in order to be entertained. I'm kind of not into gore, to be honest with you. So it was never really a question. I think there was a couple moments where they were like, does it have to shoot blood everywhere? And I was like, nah, it doesn't have to, you know, but it was so minor that I just was like, yeah, sure, we can take it away. If you think back to Star Wars, there's no blood. Yeah. And you never miss it, you know? So I felt like I balanced it out well enough because I knew that some of the stuff was going to be scary to, like, little kids already without gore. And I never really, like, wanted that much gore. I'd rather just, like, you know, when they rip the tusk out of the croc's face and start smashing it in his head. I was like, that seems gory enough to me.
On this one, could you tell me what it was like when they first pitched you this idea, or when you were first aware of what was happening? Because video game movies in general can be hit and miss, more miss usually. Yeah. And I think I'm confident saying I think you've made the best one.
Hey.
So that's a definite plus.
But I think that should be the title of your article.
But how, like, when they pitched you this, was like, it's a video game based on Rampage, and you're like, was there even a plot to Rampage?
Well, I knew there wasn't because I played the game, and I'm very forward in telling people my first gut reaction was probably what everybody's would be, which is, what are you talking about?
Sure.
You know, like, how do you turn Rampage, the stand-up arcade game from the 80s, into a movie? So it took a little bit of time for me to wrap my head around it. And initially I was, like, very dubious of the idea, not because of the video game curse. It was just kind of like, what could this be? And when I got into it, I realized, well, in order to homage the game, all you really have to do is develop 3 really good monsters and destroy a city, because that is the game, really.
Essentially, yeah.
And then there's these little things like Easter eggs that are in the movie, like the woman in the red dress and a rat, and there's a couple other little things in the movie. And I thought, I can do that and, you know, satisfy fans of the game. But ultimately, what got me excited was there's so much creative freedom to do my own main characters, my own mythology, my own action set pieces. And luckily, though I was completely aware of the video game curse because I'm a gamer, I totally forgot about it while I was shooting. And it was only in the last week of production when a bunch of press came to the set for a set visit, and they said, so how do you feel about the video game curse? that's when I instantly crapped myself.
Right.
Because I was like, oh my God, there's a video game curse. And I'd somehow completely, when you dive headlong into something creative, that's all you're doing. I live and breathe the stuff that I work on. And I completely forgot about it, luckily. So I think this movie works and defies the curse because it doesn't have to be beholden to some of the things that other video game adaptations have had to, like a really recognizable lead character or an incredibly deep mythology. So this doesn't have that. So those are big hills to climb creatively to give an audience a narrative that feels fresh and unique and satisfying, when really they could just go play the lead character in that narrative in another medium. Yeah, so it's a tough challenge. This one I felt, now in hindsight, I got very fortunate that it didn't have that.
Yeah, because there is no plot to Rampage, and you've given it one, and I think it's a fantastic movie. Brad, thank you so much.
Thank you. Good to meet you.
You have to evacuate Chicago. George didn't ask for this. They're gonna put him down. That's not happening.